every day.
Good evening and welcome to Atn's Press Roundtable. Press Roundtable is a convergence of media practitioners who dissect news and current affairs to provide the right balance. Today on Press Roundtable, we will be discussing the first story here from Rivers State. Police arrest suspended Rivers robbery kingpin. And on politics, court stops enforcement of Gandhi's suspension from APC. On education, JAM orders arrest of parents found at CBT centers. And in Lagos State, day-old baby dumped in polythene bag rescued. We will take a short break, and when we come back, I will introduce my guest and we'll dive right into the conversation. Stay with us.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics,
Nobody's ambition is what the blood.
I have fought a very firmly.
natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics.
Joining me on the conversation today is Mr. Dandy Loveday, a public affairs analyst. You're welcome.
Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you.
Thank you.
And on to the conversation. The River State Police Command said its men have arrested a notorious armed robber and cultist in the border community in the Gokana local government area of the state. Menemene Laki Babuna, popularly known as Federal. She said the suspect was nabbed by operatives of the Core Division, headquarters of Gokana local government area, in collaboration with a local vigilante group in the area. The state's police image maker said the suspect, whom she described as notorious, had made useful statement that would lead to the arrest of other fleeing members. The statement partly reads, operatives of the command attached to Core Division, in collaboration with a local vigilante group, arrested a notorious cultist and armed robbery kingpin, one Menemene Laki Babuna, aka Federal Witch. Male, age 26, a native of the border community in Gokana local government area in River State. The suspect made a useful statement to arrest other fleeing members of his gang, and the investigation is ongoing. Mr. Loveday, you will agree with me that kidnapping has been a thing in Nigeria at large, and particularly River State. And with this move from the police in the state, do you think that it wouldn't make any useful or significant impact to the rate of kidnapping in the state?
Yeah, definitely it will. But the question has remained, why is it that each time they get a particular set, before you know it's from another region, same states or different states. Before you know, it's another person and all that. And we keep hearing these things repeatedly. Why is it repeating itself?
Well, why is what repeating itself?
The issue of, you see one, should I say, heavy terrorist, or how, I don't know how you tag it.
A criminal.
A criminal. A high-profile one, or somebody who has been terrorizing the area. You keep hearing things like this. Before now, okay, this one is around the Ogoni region, or Ogoni area. Before now, we had the case of the Moha area. And then we had that of Ahoda area, which was just recent. And all that. You keep that before, and later you hear that of Eche. Why are these things repeating? Why are they repeating?
But you know, crime is bound to, you know, exist amongst people.
That's why I'm very bothered about it. The crime is not even like it's the same person. You hear different names.
So what are you thinking?
What bothers me most is the age. So I just think, is it that we are not getting it right somewhere? Or is it that the National Orientation Agency should come in?
Or do you think the police has not been working enough towards
No, if the police have not been working, enough, how come they keep bringing out different persons? It means they are making good efforts.
So, could it be that they are not actually persecuting these suspects or criminals?
That's also what the police should come out to tell us. Because most times, once this is done, they hand over to maybe prosecuting units, and then you hear the matter is in court while investigations are being carried out. So at that stage, after that level, you don't hear it again. So is it that there's somewhere, or is this somehow, is this where we're not getting it right? Then if we get to that level, the police has been doing a lot. Why are people going into crime?
The police has been doing a lot.
Yeah, they've been trying their best.
In River State.
From what was available to us, they got someone who they said has been terrorizing the region.
Or could it be that maybe they really are not, you know, apprehending these criminals? Could that be the case?
But this is not a case of a criminal attacked somewhere and ran away. This is a case where what we're reading here is that they apprehended.
Because, I mean, for you to say, you know, these cases keep springing forth,
yeah,
and we keep seeing the police come up with stories like this, that they apprehended or they arrested. The last one was shot dead,
yeah,
right, in Delta State, when he was trying to receive spiritual fortification. Okay. And one would expect that with such approaches by the security agencies, by the police in particular in River State, there wouldn't be
another total different name. And then, could it be that the prosecution is not serving as deterrent to this? Or could it be that there's something that's not being handled very well? Or are these things man-made? Or is it the society that is bringing or prompting these actions?
Talking about society, you know, this is a serious issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. It has to do with character. It has to do with moral decadence, all right? Because in a society where morality is high, then of course there has to be respect for humanity. There has to be respect for life and property. So there are factors to look into really concerning this issue. We have the economy, because many believe that if the economy was faring well, that people would be less involved in criminal activities. I mean, cases like this, kidnapping, because it is believed that kidnapping, you know, is done for a request of money, for lack of money, or for want of money, right? So could it be the economy, or could it be a decline in societal standards? Or could it...
The court should, I think, that sector, or how we're going to put it, that arm needs to be strengthened. Should it be that the laws have a way of protecting some persons that are caught in these acts, apart from killing? Should it be that the punishment is not enough to serve as deterrent to others who wants to go into it? So in as much as we understand the society may not be doing enough to generate employment, the society might not be doing enough to improve on the standard of living of its citizens. It doesn't call for somebody going into kidnapping. The person you're kidnapping and you want to collect money from, is it coming down from heaven?
Well, they don't have this understanding. I mean, the honest for you, just bring the money. I mean, they believe that you have the source.
So if there's no understanding, it means that's why I said the police, in as much as you're being caught, the court or the judges who have the final say, they should strengthen that arm. In so much that if someone sees what the other person whom is being caught is going through, then you don't even have a need to go into it.
So you're holding responsible the society, the police,
the society, all hands has to be on desk for in this matter.
Alright then, let's go on to the next story here. A federal high court in Kano has ordered the purported suspension of the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Abdullahi Ganduje, by his ward be stopped. The ruling came late on Wednesday after Ganduje filed an ex parte motion seeking to enforce his fundamental right to a fair hearing. The respondents in the application are the police, the Department of State Services, the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, and 9 other individuals. Recall that on Monday, April 16, APC executives in Dawakin Ward, Tofa local government area of Kano State, purportedly suspended the APC national chairman over alleged corruption. Subsequently, the State Working Committee of the APC nullified the suspension and sanctioned the ward executives with a month's suspension. However, the presiding judge at the Kano High Court, Judge Usman Nahaba, on Tuesday, upheld the purported suspension of Ganduje. In the ex parte order delivered on Wednesday by the court and made available to newsmen on Thursday, the judge, A.M. Liman, said the purported suspension should not be implemented until the case is heard and determined. That all the respondents, their servants, agents, or privies are hereby restrained from implementing and or giving effect to the purported decision reached during the purported emergency meeting of the alleged executive members of the APC held at Ganduje ward of Dawaking Tofa local government area. Liman said the court subsequently fixed April 30 to hear Ganduje's appeal. Now, just yesterday, we heard that the High Court has affirmed the suspension of Ganduje, and here again, another court is stopping that suspension. How are you reacting to this?
Just now I just mentioned that arm needs to be strengthened. The judiciary. A court took a decision on Tuesday, now affirming the suspension. Another judge, or let me say, another judge came up on Wednesday and gave a different ruling. Now, which one should we obey? The same High Court. The same High Court in Kano. I'm not even saying one did in Port Harcourt, the other one did in Kano. Same High Court, same different judges, different ruling.
So what do you think is playing here?
Whatever is playing is not necessary. That politics is not supposed to go into the judiciary. In fact, the judges should not allow themselves to be used by politicians. I don't think it's necessary. Then going back to what's happening in the APC, it's left with the APC to decide whether Ganduje or whosoever wants to dodge it or wants to, in fact, they don't want to accept it. Let's go back to what happened to the former PDP chairman, Ayu, who literally withdrew his case from court, I think today or something of that nature. What happened? At the ward level, he was suspended. And then they came up to say, I said, no, I can't be suspended. Why should I be suspended? They did everything and all that. He went to court. Okay, he went to court, and the court affirmed that it is the ward that has the power to suspend you. It also happened to Oshomole, the former the APC chairman. national chairman. And now, Ganduje. In this case, the state is coming up to say, we are suspending those who suspended him. At what level? I thought there's a ruling on all this. And then they approached the court. The first judge said, yeah, it's affirmed. You have the power. Another judge said, you don't have the power. And they were tumbling into this whole thing and forgetting that this is a government in power. And we're battling with economic devastation.
When you say forgetting that this is a government in power, what does that imply?
What that implies is that their house have to be in order. And they have to also go ahead to obey the judiciary. Not coming out to give two different, diverse judgments. So where do we fall in? If a government in power can be facing this, you're presenting the judiciary as if it's divided. Presenting it as if the judgment is not even organized. Which of the constitution are they interpreting? Which one are we following? So if the government in power should present the judiciary as if is not something that is coordinated, then there's a problem. There's a problem. Then the government in power should come up to put this house in order. Where is this coming from?
Well, apparently the house is not in order. As we can see, the parties are obviously in disunity. And I mean, the ward members who are actually who have the legal and constitutional right, as you have stated, to suspend a party member. I mean, that has been the tradition, that has been the case. And now a high court threatening, or rather instructing, these members who suspended Ganduje be suspended. Where then does that leave the party? What do you think? What do you think can be done in this regard?
In this regard, first of all, it's not even the courts that suspended the president.
It's not the courts.
It's the state executive.
Yes.
They said they are suspended. Where do they derive their power? Borrowing from what happened in the case of Oshomole and Ayu. Borrowing from that and borrowing from the court ruling that stepped Oshomole aside. Adams Oshomole.
I mean, the state executives have the right to suspend a member.
It has not been in existence. It has not happened. The court have not told us that the state executive has power.
Who can suspend a party member?
From what happened in the case of Oshomole and Ayu, according to the court ruling, the court have said that only the ward at the ward level, at the not even your unit level, at that unit level, that's where somebody can be suspended, because every person who wants to be registered in a political party goes back to the unit. So that was how Oshomole left.
So Ganduje was suspended by executives, not ward members.
No. Not member executive. You have the chairman, you have the secretary. If they come together from what happened, I still insist, from what happened to what are you? Except the court will come out tomorrow and throw that matter away and say this matter is not correct. Now, from what happened to Ayu and what happened to Oshomole, it means if we go in same view, Ganduje may not withstand it. Yeah, if we go in that view, except, but one confusing thing now is a situation where two court order is now existing.
Conflicting.
And then we have the one of Tuesday. Should we, in the case of Rivers State, during the era of 2019, where we had the pro and anti during the that was same APC in Rivers State during the Amechi, Magnus, and different other persons matter. It also happened. Now we hear, let's obey the one that came up on Tuesday. Then your own came up on Wednesday, so we shouldn't obey it. And we're going back to that level. We're going back to that scenario. That is not supposed to be so. And whatever politicians are doing, the judiciary is not supposed to be brought into this whole thing. That's my point. Why are you using the judiciary in this whole thing? And the judges do not understand what is going on? I think it's high time the agency has to come in. They need to intervene in this matter. before you ridicule the judiciary. It's enough.
So legally speaking, which ruling can we actually hold on to?
Whatever the APC will tell us the ruling we will hold on to, because
I mean, I'm not talking about APC now. I'm talking about legally, constitutionally.
Constitutionally?
Yes.
There is nothing. What are you going to talk about constitutionally? What are you going to talk about legally when a judge of a federal high court, in fact, two judges
now
of
we
federal
have two
high
judges.
court, is telling us that this is the right thing. One is saying this is the right thing. The other one is countering what this other judge has said.
From your judgment,
yes,
which ruling is actually constitutionally
from my judgment, following what happened in the case of Adams Oshomole under APC national chairmanship, and that of Ayu under PDP national chairmanship, that they, in fact, also secondus from River State. It also happened. What happened? They stepped aside. So coming back to the same scenario in the case of Ganduje, the APC national chairman, current APC national chairman, he's also stepping aside. If you ask me, from those scenarios, from those three scenarios, except there is a way they want to do it.
But why are you following those scenarios?
Why shouldn't I? That's what the court has told us. That's what the court has established. And if I take you to court, I also quote those scenarios. That's the lawyers. If anybody goes to court, you have to quote those judgments and then make your case. You have a case. So, but in this case, two lower courts judges are telling us, so we have the judgment of Tuesday and judgment of Wednesday. So where are we going? It's not a good precedence. It's not at all.
All right then, thank you very much. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll dive right into the rest of the conversation. Stay with us.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics,
Nobody's ambition is what the blood.
I have fought a very family.
natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today. Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics,
Nobody's ambition is what the blood.
I have fought a very family.
natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human trafficker.
Honorable they are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
Thank you for staying with us. Now to the rest of our stories. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board has directed all computer-based test center owners to arrest any parent who is found near any of their facilities during the 2024 UTME exercise. The body said all arrangements have been concluded for the conduct of the 2024 UTME, which will be held in over 700 CBT centers across the nation. The directive was issued at the final briefing of the computer-based test centers owners, which was held virtually on Wednesday, 17th April 2024, a transcript of which was obtained by our correspondent on Thursday in Abuja. The board said the directive became necessary following the intrusive disposition of some parents during the board's previous exercises. According to the registrar, Professor Ishaq Oloyede, any parent who disobeys this order would not only be arrested, but his ward would also be disqualified from sitting the examination. This measure is necessary as it has been discovered over time that many of these intruding parents the centers to perpetrate all forms of infractions. Consequently, the registrar disclosed that the board has directed security operatives to work with the centers to apprehend any meddlesome parent who comes near the centers. Some miscreants also disguise as parents to infiltrate the centers to perpetrate all forms of infractions. Consequently, the registrar disclosed that the board has directed security operatives to work with the centers to apprehend any meddlesome parent who comes near the centers. The board's health man noted that going by the extant national policy on education, a candidate for the examination must have attained the age of 17. Therefore, it is evident that these parents had not allowed their wards to pass through the classes as defined in the document. Hence, the determination to follow their wards to the examination venue to compromise examination officials. You know, time and time again, we have seen instances where parents follow their, wards, or rather children, to the examination hall, or even going as far as paying for their examination. We see parents meddle for their children's stay or place in the examinations, and sometimes you really cannot place the reason. You really cannot, or rather you cannot understand the reason, because eventually the child is going to reap the results of that particular actions, because you cannot cheat nature and you cannot cheat the process. So do you think that this move by JAM is a welcome development to curtail such meddlesome acts from parents towards the examinations or even education of their children?
Okay, first of all, I want to commend JAM. So far, they've been awesome. They've been doing very well in the area of trying to curtail the level of exam practice within the country. They've been doing very well, especially with the introduction of computer-based exam and others. They've tried, but in this part of the world to handle it. So I think the JAM officials are also not giving up, and that may have formed this new directive. But again, why will a parent go to JAM exam centers or exam halls? What are you going to do there? Your child is there. Are you going there out of love of your child, or out of what?
You don't want to see the child fail.
You don't want, so you are the brain.
You join the child.
So all the school fees you paid and all that. When you paid school fees, while the child was going to classes, you didn't go to that place.
It's even more amazing how some of these parents meddle for these exams, because some are not even up to the age. Some are 15. Some haven't even completed their secondary school. You see parents from, SS1, meddling for the children to enroll for the JAM examinations. And just like you said, why? And I stated this earlier, what is the reason actually, knowing fully well that the child would reap the result of that? Or maybe, could it be because, I mean, our education system is so porous that you can easily, if you have the finance to pull through, you can easily pull through and become a graduate, so to say.
Is it possible they are saying, my child does not know how to operate computer?
No, well, that's another angle to look at it. That's another angle because, I mean, not everybody is a computer literate. And not every school actually teaches or have the computer facilities.
Does it even require much? Does it require much? It's just to click A, B, or C.
An illiterate, a computer illiterate.
Illiterate, an SS3 student. An SS3 student have not seen computer, does not know what to press.
It depends on the school and the capacity of the parents. And there are a lot of students out there who actually does not know jack on the computer.
And then you're a parent. At the end of WAEC, your child stays at home with you for, let's say, at least 6 months or whatever, 3 months. And then, even without that, during the holiday period, you know your child wants to go for an exam. You bought JAMB form for the child. How do you prepare the child for the exam? First, you ask the child to read. Secondly, you know the child is even going to sit in an exam, not with pen and paper. So what stops you as a parent to take your child to a computer center? If the child is afraid of computer, it means the child is not qualified to sit for such an exam. Go to universities, go and do remedial programs.
So do you think that this could be probably a lack of information from the parents, you know?
Telling people that it lacks confidence in the child's ability to make it. Or you're also telling us that the child can't do it on his own or her own. There is no need with the things on ground, with how JAMB has prepared their exams and all that. What's the parent going in to do? Is it that you want to go and press the system for the child? What's the parent actually going, or you want to go and tell the child where to sit down? It happens. So, but what are you going in there to do? If you know your child is not prepared for this, or you don't even have confidence in that, what are you going there to do? You want to go and buy biscuits for the child? What are you going there to do?
So what is your message to parents out there concerning this?
Please, parents, whatever it is, I don't even see any need why you go to JAMB centers. Prepare your child ahead of time. It's an exam. The child is going for an exam. This exam, they have it fixed for it. You bought JAMB form for your child. Prepare the child for it. When the time is approaching, tell your child, this is what to do. In fact, they even have mock exam. They have a way to practice, rehearse before the exam. That's even provided by JAMB. Let your child be encouraged to partake in all this. Then when it's time, allow the child to write. What do you want to give to the child?
You know, I mentioned education because, I mean, nobody acts better than they know, right? Yeah. What you do is a function of what you know, except you know, but you just decide to neglect what you know and go the other way. And so I have seen or knowledge is limited to a large extent. And so you see a parent who probably doesn't even know that the JAMB you're applying for is computer-based, right?
Okay.
And so when it's time for the exams, maybe they fail the child not because they think that, I don't know, for whatever reason though, but then because they just want their child to pass. Maybe their presence could help the child, or maybe they're even fearful, afraid on behalf of the child because, like you mentioned, maybe they don't trust the child, or there are myriads of reasons why certain things like this could happen. But then it boils down to the fact that the child is probably not well prepared for the exams. Okay. So for such a parent, how would you advise them?
First, we live in a society where we understand the challenges of the rural areas. or the challenges being faced by those at the rural areas. Many of them have never seen computer, I understand. In fact, for some of them, there's no light. Some of them, they can't operate the phones very well, not to even talk about computer. Then their child or their children went through school without even seeing computer. Even some of them offer computer courses, but I've never seen computer. These problems exist in most rural areas in Nigeria. We understand that. And then coming into an exam like JAMB, where you now need to go and face what you've never seen before. You've been hearing computer and all that. So the first time you see it is like, what type of television is this that has buttons and all that? But I also want to understand that a parent or a father, a mother who is not used to computer, who is also coming from the rural area, lacks the guts to penetrate JAMB centers, JAMB halls. This is my thinking. How? You don't know what is JAMB, you just know they're writing an exam, you want to infiltrate the area. Think about it.
So you don't think the problem is a lack of knowledge? You think the problem is what?
I just think the problem has to do with is lifestyle. Lifestyle. I want my child to pass. So this is how we do it. This is how we used to do it. That spirit of exam practice that existed before this new
So
innovation.
you don't think that is a function of knowledge?
Knowledge in the sense that
that's the knowledge they've been used to. That lifestyle is the knowledge that they have imbibed, that has made their reality, basically. So maybe they need a new lesson. So I'm more concerned because this right here can be said to be a welcome development from JAMB.
Yeah.
However, does it attend to all and sundry, both those in the rural areas? Because I mean, before we tend to want to prefer a solution, then we must have identified the actual problem, not the result of the problem. Because most of the times we only come up with policies or strategies that addresses the effect of the problem and not the problem itself.
Yeah, I also think that's also where JAMB failed. That's also where JAMB failed. You know, considering those at the rural area, probably they might have even thought about it and I said, let's just try it. And then this challenge is not coming. It's left with JAMB to go back. And I said, could this problem be coming from the rural areas only? Or is it being faced by those these persons that are doing this, are they from the rural areas? Some of them are not, because when you talked about knowledge, I'm trying to look at it in which scenario. Some of them are even the rich men. Some of them are those who are very educated. Another, because I'm educated, I want my child to be educated. So for that reason, let me infiltrate that either with money or with whatever it is, just to make sure that my child is given a good that chance.
Okay, all right then. Thank you. We have to get to the next story. And the last story for today, it says, a day-old baby boy abandoned in a polythene bag has been rescued at Alhaji Masha Road in the Surulere area of Lagos State. Atn Metro gathered that a yet-to-be-identified social worker attached to a hospital in Surulere, while on her way to a destination, heard the sound of a crying baby emanating from the polythene bag. Upon observing what was in the polythene bag, the social worker saw the baby boy and quickly rushed him to the Randall General Hospital for quick medical intervention. It was learned that the baby had been responding to treatment. Our correspondent learned that the divisional police officer and a team from the Family Support Unit visited the scene of the incident. The State Police Public Relations Officer, Benjamin Hondeyi, confirmed the incident. He said the case of the day-old baby abandoned by unknown persons in a polythene bag was reported at the Surulere Division on April 15, 2024, around 1:40 p.m. by the social worker. The baby has been rescued and is responding to treatment. The divisional police officer and a team from the family support unit visited the scene of the incident. The investigation is in progress. Quite a disheartening story here, but we know that this is not the first time something like this is happening. And it boggles the mind, really, to see a child who has been carried in a woman's womb for good 9 months. And I hear that some even carry their babies for over 9 months. You know, after going through that process, abandons the baby. Mr. Loveday, I want to come from an angle first because I like to identify the problems of anything before I look forward to preferring or suggesting possible solutions. What do you think could be the reason for such acts from mothers, as it were? Why do you think a woman would be delivered of a baby, either newborn, this one here says a day-old baby? What do you think, or what are the factors that could be responsible for that?
You know, when you asked me this, I felt like putting my hand in my cheek and then, because looking at that picture is devastating. First, it's uncalled for. It's uncalled for, whatever. We understand so many persons are going through different challenges. But this takes me back to the first story. We were talking about a crime scene, a notorious criminal and all that has been nabbed now and all that. Why would someone do this? You're taking life.
That's why I'm asking, what do you think could be responsible? I mean, could anybody in their right senses do that? And if, somebody in their right senses could do that, what could be...
I've seen a scenario, I think here in River State, around, this would be, well, somebody had a child, and then probably whether she knew who impregnated her or not, but she was left alone with the baby. And then it happened to an extent that she couldn't even see food to eat, not to talk about feeding the child. So she was looking at herself. It seems hating. And most of the times you see the baby crying. Of course, that's babies for you. And then at the time, this young lady couldn't bear it. She has to now press the baby with anger. Now use that pillow, throw on the baby. Look at you, you have shattered my life, you have done this and all that. The man's sister's house dropped the baby and left. So the only time she got back to that place was 5 years later. What happened? She came to check if that baby she dropped died or the child is alive. Now, these things happen. Woman or a girl found